Whew, that was looking bad for a minute, to say the very least. I was looking very bad. But credit to Indiana, they held on and did what they needed to do at the end of the game to win that game. Thought I was gonna make another video crashing out. I'm like, gosh, I can't just keep crashing out in these videos. But obviously, I mean, there's still a lot to be concerned about if you're Indiana. They had a 23-point lead. By the fourth quarter, they were trailing by two. Now, this time they didn't completely fold. They did a great job, I felt, of weathering the tide. They were in the big arena in Dallas. The crowd was going bonkers for the Wings, probably because Caitlin Clark wasn't playing, so they were able to get actual Dallas fans in there. And they just did a great job. I felt they didn't let it get to them. In the past, like last night especially, when they started blowing those leads, you could just tell in their body language, they're like, it's over. We've done this before. We don't trust ourselves. We know it's over. We're going to lose. And this time they didn't have that body language about them. They actually kept playing, kept pressing, and retook the lead and built it back up. And this time didn't give it up. They gave up some of it. And like I said, there's still a lot of work to be done. Stephanie White's not the answer. She's not going to be the answer. If I'm the Fever, I'm honestly, I mean, you don't have a lot of time to spare like you might think you do. And if I'm Indiana, I'm going to go and let go of Stephanie White and get somebody else in there. Just because they can't really continue, they can't afford to continue this for much longer. Um, but man, first of all, shout out to Kelsey Mitchell. I know I say it in every video. I love her game. Her game. I know she doesn't play like Allen Iverson, but her overall attitude and swagger reminds me of Allen Iverson because he was so much smaller than everybody, lightning quick, didn't mind taking the deep bombs and just threw his body into the lane and made impossible layups and made shots that you just didn't think somebody his size would be able to make amongst the Redwoods. And Kelsey does that too. Yeah, I know sometimes it's to the team's detriment, like it was with AI, but you know what? We remember him fondly, and I'm going to remember Kelsey Mitchell fondly. Hopefully, I have a lot more years of getting to watch her play for Indy. But either way, she's going to be remembered very well. Love her game and very happy to get to watch her, and she did an amazing job tonight. I can't say enough good things about her, and I can't say enough good things about Ari McDonald. It is so good to have her back. Tawana out and Ari in is such a such a good thing to happen. I really think as the season goes on, and she really continues to develop chemistry. They realize what they have in her. She's going to help us win a lot of games. She was crucial in this one tonight. Other than Kelsey, I think she was the most important one. Did an amazing job. Michaela Timpson, the rookie, hadn't seen much for her this year. They put her out there, and I liked what I saw. Just put her in there in some good moments. Let her gain some experience. Give her all Sydney Colson's minutes. That's all I could say. I don't think it's Sydney, but she's another one. Her style's just not working out. Natasha Howard had a good game. I know it's been kind of hit or miss for her. Some people are saying, they shouldn't have got her. It was a bust getting her. She's done a good job for the Fever. She gets rebounds. She can make some good buckets, and I think she just has to gain some chemistry. She's not quit like Dewana has. She's sticking with it. I hope to see her do well. I really do. I'm pulling for her, obviously professionally, but on a personal level, I'm pulling for her as well too. And I think she's going to do it. I really do. I think my words on that one, but if I do, oh well. I was optimistic, and I won't apologize for that part of it. I just apologize for being wrong. But I don't think I will be. We'll have to see about that one. Aaliyah Boston, amazing. Looked good. She obviously doesn't look the same without Caitlin out there to run the pick and rolls, but she has her own set of what she brings to the table, and she did that very well tonight as well. Some very good defense and very good internal post moves. Proud of her, just proud of the whole team. Like I said, the Hollywood Blondes, Lexi and Sophie, they didn't score a lot of points, but they did their job defensively. Some spot up shooting here and there. I wish they would both get a little bit. They're kind of in shooting slumps themselves, but must be white girl shooting slump time. I don't know, but they're doing their job, and like I said, they're good for the team, and they had some clutch plays there in the fourth quarter, some crucial plays that really helped them. As for the Dallas Wings, Paige Beckers is going to be a star. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I don't think she's going to be what Caitlin Clark is. I don't think she has the all-around game. I don't think she's as dynamic as far as bringing people in. But, I mean, she's going to be a star. Her and Caitlin are going to have a lot of battles in the future. We didn't get to see them battle tonight, but she's the real deal. Rike, she's one of the best in the league last year, this year. Shane will have a better team around her. Hopefully she can stick around for a while Paige develops. Why the coach had her sitting for as long as she sat in the fourth quarter, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe in the grand scheme of things when it comes to the WNBA, Stephanie White is a good coach compared to everybody else. Because I'm telling you, Noelle Quinn of the Seattle Storm single-handedly lost that game for them, keeping Erica Wheeler just glued to Caitlin Clark, who was obviously hurting and obviously in a horrible slump. Just opened the floor up and really took a player out of the play that didn't need to be taken out of the play. So we got lucky with that one. This one wasn't, I don't feel, was as much luck. We blew another big lead. We need to fix that. But at least this time, we regained it and were able to hold on to that one. Extended that one back out and held on to that. So good for them. Need to get rid of Stephanie White sooner rather than later. We can't just keep, having these seasons with coaches that just don't fit. There's a commercial with Mark Jackson in it. It's almost like the universe saying, hey, Indy, this guy, get him. Go get him. Whatever it takes. Borrow money from the NBA even more. Say, look, we need a coach that can make us championship contenders with Caitlin to make really help us make our own money here. I'd hope they would do that. But I do want to praise some people from the WNBA. The last couple of days with some of the situations that have been going on. I mean, I have shit all over the WNBA as a league a lot. And look, there's a lot there to be dumped on. There's a lot of issues they have as a league. But I want to give a shout out to a couple people. First of all, Cynthia Cooper. I think I'm going to make her the thumbnail for this video. She did an interview that was so good, praising this new generation and, praising the younger players that are in there in the future for the WNBA. That means a lot for somebody like her. She was the leader of those first 4 WNBA champions, the Houston Comets, who of course folded, but they won the first 4 WNBA championships. People think of that as Cheryl Swoops' team. It was not Cheryl Swoops' team. They got Cynthia Cooper. Cheryl Swoops was their big acquisition, Houston Comets that is, and they thought Cynthia Cooper was too old. Well, she promptly went out and won the first 2 league MVPs and won the first 4 championships and won the finals MVP in all 4 years. Cheryl Swoops won 1 MVP in that time period, league MVP, but it was Cynthia Cooper in the playoffs doing the heavy work. Looking back, it was not a Cheryl Swoops team. And that just brings you another dichotomy between those two. Cheryl Swoops is all about bitter and, we did this and, knocking the newer guard and all that. And there's Cynthia Cooper. I mean, this was her moment to stand there and, she was going to be a big audience. Say, hey, Paige is good, but, she hasn't won 4 straight championships like me. She hasn't won 4 straight finals MVPs like me. She didn't do that. All she did was she didn't even talk about herself. She just praised them. And, that's just, and why Cheryl Swoops can't be that way, I don't know. It's like she's trying to rewrite history. And Cynthia Cooper, she knows what she did. She don't need anybody to praise her. She knows it. That's good enough. She wants to see this league continue to grow. Good for her. I was so glad to see that. And, some faith in the WNBA was restored with her. We need to focus on people like her and Nancy Lieberman, who was on the broadcast. She is good friends with Cheryl Swoops. She called Cheryl Swoops out in private about her comments and about the way she was knocking the newer WNBA players, and Cheryl Swoops decided not to be her friend anymore, despite decades of friendship. So, Nancy Lieberman decided that, promoting the new people in the WNBA and making this league as viable as possible was more important than Cheryl Swoops. So good for you, Nancy. I'm very happy the way she, really, again, promotes the league, promotes these younger players that are going to bring the people in. Because, Nancy Lieberman, people might not realize she was one of the best women's college players ever. One of them for sure. I mean, she won 2 national championships. I think it was Old Dominion, if I'm not mistaken, which I think is in Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. It was like the National Player of the Year and all that, which I think is now the Wooden Award. But obviously, there was no viable professional leagues back then. There was no NBA, giving out welfare. But she's not bitter about it. She's not there to promote herself. She's there to promote other people. And I have a lot of respect for that. I have a lot of respect for them. So kudos to them. Cynthia Cooper, I mean, how do you not call her the WNBA era GOAT? Like I said, the WNBA starts, they think she's too old. She's already in her 30s. 4 straight championships, 2 straight MVPs, 4 straight finals MVPs. Not bad for an old lady, huh? So, thank you, Cynthia Cooper, for what you've done for this league. I'm glad to see you finally getting recognition from people like me that should have been giving you recognition a long time ago. And thank you for promoting these people like you should. You don't have to do that. That's the thing. You could be like your former teammate Cheryl Swoops and just dump on everybody and be like, well, but no, she doesn't do that. So kudos to her. Kudos to Nancy Lieberman, but especially Cynthia Cooper, and kudos to the Indiana Fever for hanging on. Yeah, they shouldn't have blown that lead, but you know what? They got it back and they held on. So they didn't sink their head in defeat. They dug in and they went out and they got it. So congrats to them. Paige Becker, she's going to be a star. Looking forward to seeing her play and seeing her develop, and seeing this rivalry between her and Caitlin that started up in college with Iowa versus UConn. See it, become a thing in the WNBA. Angel Reese is not a viable competitor to Caitlin. Asia Wilson's not a viable competitor. She's not dynamic enough. So hopefully, hopefully she'll do well, and hopefully the league will do well. Hopefully we can get Caitlin back, and hopefully they'll either fire Stephanie White or Stephanie will pull her head out of her rear end, maybe uncross her arms and actually do something on the court. But I'm not holding my breath for it. So thank you guys for watching, and take care. Talk to you later.